Good evening everyone. My name's Hayden. I'm the Assistant Director for Corporate Services, and I'm joined this evening by Rebecca Clarke, who is our Head of Customer Experience, and also Steve Finnegan, who is our Vice Chair of the Board. Steve's joining us remotely this evening, so welcome Steve on the screen. We're here tonight to talk a little bit about the consultation that we're doing, which is incredibly important for us. But first I wanted to give you just a little bit of background about why we're doing it. We are absolutely committed to providing the best service possible for our customers and want to ensure that you have the opportunity to influence the way in which we design and we deliver our services. Over the past several years, we've seen a steady increase in the number of customers who have been accessing our services online and through digital and wanting to speak with us through the web chat. Also been using email and phone. We've seen fewer people that have wanted to visit us in person, and this is a trend that's kind of prevalent across the housing sector and in business in general, as we embrace new ways of working and interacting with each other. I think that's probably been particularly true of the last 18 months or so due to the impact of the pandemic. But we've been supporting customers to find alternative ways of talking with us, of accessing our services and completing everyday transactions such as reporting repairs or paying their rent or completing other transactions. You may recall that in 2020 we carried out our customer star survey, and we had over 2,000 of our customers that responded to that survey, so a big thank you to all of those that did. You told us what mattered most to you, including where and how you felt we could do things differently, and we're eager to continue to build on that feedback. What I'd like to do now is hand you across to Steve, who's going to talk a little bit more about the rationale for the consultation. Steve?
Thank you, Julie. So in November last year, the government published its social housing white paper, which encompassed its charter for social housing residents. And the charter covers 7 key areas that the government identified as being important to residents, such as safety, performance, respect. And one of those which I'd like to pick up on this evening is the customer's voice, and that's your voice. As Julie mentioned a moment ago, last year's STAR survey provided us with some invaluable insights into how you prefer to access our services and interact with us. It would be a disservice to you and to Wolverhampton Homes if we didn't take that feedback and use it to inform a positive change going forwards. As the Vice Chair of the Board, it's my role, along with fellow board members, to ensure that Wolverhampton Homes is given the strategic direction it needs to deliver against our objectives, and this includes effective engagement with residents. We're keen to ensure the customer voice is put at the heart of decision making, and whatever the regulation says, we are determined as a board and as an organisation to do the right thing and to do what's right for Wolverhampton tenants. Wolverhampton Homes proposals represent key changes for customers, so I'd urge you all, if you're listening tonight, to have your say and ask as many questions. And now I'm going to hand over to Rebecca.
Hi everyone, I'm Rebecca, I'm the Head of Customer Experience here at Wolverhampton Homes. I joined back in March now, so the last 4 months has really flown by. And one of the things that really influenced my decision to join Wolverhampton Homes was the strong commitment to listening to the customer voice now and into the future. So for me, this is a really exciting opportunity to build on that as we move forwards. And I'd like to thank everyone that I've met so far for the warm welcome. Looking ahead to the future, one of the things we really want to make sure we do, as Steve mentioned, is to ensure we continue to listen to customers, but really push that much further and ensure that we not only listen, but demonstrate improvements moving forwards in all of our services. And that's one of the reasons that we've opened this consultation for you. So There has been lots of change right across the sector in the last couple of years, whether that be through the white paper and the Charter for Social Housing Residents, or even through our very own 2020 STAR survey that Julie mentioned earlier as well. But one thing we are committed to here at Wolverhampton Homes is ensuring that we do listen, as I mentioned, and that we really demonstrate that improvement moving forward and that your voice has been listened to. And that needs to influence all the way through all of our decision making that we do and work with you to develop our services moving forwards. So if you haven't done so already, please do take 5 or 10 minutes to complete our questionnaire and our survey. The link is available on Facebook, somewhere in the background here, and also on our website for those of you that haven't done that yet. And if you're not comfortable doing it online, you can also do that in person. Please let us know and we'll be able to contact you to be able to do that over the telephone, or even come down to one of our remaining events, of which we've got 2 left. So one of them at Penwood Court in Merry Hill this Thursday between 3 and 5, and then also on Friday at the Wensfield Community Centre between 12:30 and 2:30, where we'll also be giving out ice cream as well. Fingers crossed the weather stays okay for us. And I think we've had some questions coming in already, which is really great.
We have. Thank you, Bex. So we're going to take some questions now. If you've got any questions at all that you'd like to ask of us, please post them in the comments, and a member of our comms team will pick them up. If we don't have time to answer any questions this evening, please send us a private message and we will pick these up afterwards and we'll respond to you directly. So we have had a few questions that have come through. One of these questions is from Jenny, so thank you, Jenny, for raising the question. I'm used to visiting the one-stop shops and seeing people face to face. Does this mean I won't be able to do that anymore? Bex, would you like to answer?
I could definitely try. To provide some reassurance on that point for you, Jenny, we're really committed in improving our face-to-face services in anything. So this consultation isn't about taking one thing away and replacing it with another or leaving it as that. It is much more about engaging with all of our customers to understand the best way to deal with that. So we definitely want to continue with things like our get-togethers and meeting with our residents associations, so there'll be that formal engagement. But on a personal level, you know, we'll have tenancy officers out and about on estates, and one of the questions actually asks all of our customers how much visibility they actually want us to have and where and how they want us to do that. So it's a real opportunity to give us that feedback on how that was working before and how you see that working in the future. So I can only see that going from strength to strength, really.
Great, thanks, Bex. Another question we've had from Rupert, so thank you, Rupert. From surveys that have been undertaken so far, we're hearing loud and clear that customers want to, oh sorry, your question, Rupert, what are you going to do to improve call waiting times? So we've undertaken surveys, and we're hearing through those surveys that customers want to communicate with us via telephone. So we've reviewed some of the call pathways and we've taken a detailed look at some of the reasons that customers are contacting us. So off the back of that initial review, we've then looked at making changes to reduce the need for customers to ring us, reduce the overall number of calls that are coming in, and that will in turn then reduce the call waiting times. So if our customers do prefer to contact us by phone, we will be able to redirect our resources to ensure that call waiting times and the responses are improved. And we'll review those timescales ongoing to ensure that they are realistic, but also that customers will know what to expect, and that we can deliver on our promises. It's a really good question, thank you. Next question we've had that's come through, so thank you for this, is how will you speed up how long it will take you to come back to me? Bex, can I hand this one over to you?
Yeah, I think this question really follows on from Rupert's that we've just had previously, and I think the biggest thing about this consultation and the questionnaire is that we're not just asking about one thing. We want to hear about how you want to contact us right across the piece, and that could be online, it could be in person, it could be over the phone, and we really have to look at that as a whole and what information's out there for customers, as Julie says, the reason why people are contacting us as well, so that we can manage that in the right way and make sure you get it right first time really in terms of the solution for you. That we've got staff in the right places when people need us, and as you'll see from the whole consultation, we've even called it "We're here when you need us," and that's going to be our commitment moving forward, is to make sure that we're doing everything we can to improve that in the right way. And then the other side to that as well is making sure you've got the information once you've submitted an inquiry, so i.e. if you want to book a repair, making sure that we can keep you up to date with what goes on thereafter, and improve that communication, which again is in direct response to the feedback we've had from customers over the last 18 months of the pandemic.
Great, thanks Bex. So another question that we've had in, thank you for this question. It feels like we don't get listened to and I have to keep calling you. How are you going to change this? I think this is a really good question, and I guess our vision really is to resolve calls at the first point of contact, and that's really key for us wherever we're able to do that. Where it's not possible, we will keep you updated about your inquiry, and that's either through the agreed form of contact or by signposting to relevant information online. So that's something that we is part of our vision going forward. Steve or Bex, do you have anything to add to that?
I think I'd just say that what we're trying to achieve, basing it on the last answer, what we're trying to achieve in Wolverhampton is not massively dissimilar to what other good housing providers are trying to do as well. What we want to make sure we do in Wolverhampton now is tailor the services to what people in Wolverhampton need and what you want. And the other thing we need to be careful of when we're improving services, we have to make sure we don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, as it were. So we need to keep hold of everything that's good about the service as it is at the moment, but look to be more efficient and look at where we can improve. So again, this is where your sort of ideas will come in and feed into the pot to give us some idea of what it is that you care about the most. So please, I can't encourage you enough to come forward and tell us what you think about the service and how what shape you'd like it to take going forwards.
Thank you, Steve. There has been another question that's probably along similar lines to that, I think, in terms of what happens when our repairs have reached the 90-day deadline. And I think, as we've said, in terms of it feels like the calls are not listened to, and really our vision is about resolving at the first point of contact. So there's certainly some learning for us, I think, in terms of the number of repairs, the themes, and how we support the repairs being, the understanding of what's causing the concern. So I think part of this will be the learnings that we get from some of the complaints that come through, and that's really important. Certainly from the social housing white paper has really said to us about learning from what happens, and that will be part of our learning in terms of our vision going forward.
Sorry, can I just chip in there as well, Julie? I think it's important to recognise that we know that we're not perfect, and we know that there's more to be done. And again, please don't hesitate to tell us when things go wrong. Make those complaints, because we learn from complaints. And it's one of my jobs, sitting on the board, to make sure that senior managers are listening to what people are saying and they're learning from those complaints. So please tell us everything that goes on, because the more we know, the greater the chance of improving.
Thank you, Steve. Next question we've had is, you say you're going to improve things, but how will we know? How are you going to show people what changes have taken place? So our intention is that we will be reporting information back at the get-togethers. We're also going to use the proposed new scrutiny panel, which is made up of various stakeholders that will monitor and challenge any underperformance. We want to continue, as Steve's just said, to seek customers' views, and that will be through surveys and questionnaires to ensure that the services that we are delivering are the services that our customers, that you have told us that you want to receive. So that's how that will take place. Next question we've had through is, there are people with learning disabilities that are not very good online. What are you going to do to improve this? Bex, can I hand this one to you?
You can. I think one of the things you'll have hopefully heard and seen from us at Wolverhampton Homes over the last 12 months is a much stronger commitment to equality and diversity and inclusion right across the piece, and I think this is something that often gets missed in conversations like this. So we have been careful to include some questions on the protected characteristics, of which we have included mental health and different disabilities as well in there, to try and understand who's actually responding to the questionnaire. So we'll have that snapshot there, but I think the biggest thing for us as well is, once we've got the results, if we do see that a particular group is underrepresented, we will proactively go and speak to members within the community and within those groups in order to try a different approach really, and ask the questions in a different way, using different methods. And certainly anyone that is affected by that moving forward, we'd love to hear from you so that we can shape our services, which is exactly the point of the consultation, to make sure we are open to everyone and that we are accessible, because we don't know what it's like a lot of the time to live a day in your shoes. So most definitely, if you are keen to give us some feedback and some ideas, we'll take that on board, and we'd love to hear from you with regards to this and what we do in future.
Can I just add something there as well? I think it's important to say it's not about delivering the same service for everybody. It's about delivering a fair service for everyone, but it's also about recognising there's certain individuals out there who do need a service to be tailored to them, to their needs. And one of the advantages to changing the services going forwards is that we will be able to identify those customers who have particular requirements, and our job will be to make sure that they're, to the best of our ability, we can meet those. And by being more flexible and providing a more modern service, it means staff can be out and about more as well, and gives us an opportunity to get to know tenants and get to know those individuals who do have particular needs that we need to try and meet. So I think this is a real opportunity to make sure that everybody gets a fair service, but also everybody gets a service that's tailored to their particular needs.
Thank you, Steve, for that. Steve, just to let you know, you've frozen on us, so we're going to try and get you back, but hopefully everyone will be able to hear what Steve has said. We've come to the end of the questions, but I think for us about around this consultation is really, this is kind of the start of a conversation with us. So please, if you've any comments at all, please contact us, drop a note into Facebook Live, or please do come and visit the events that we have for the remainder of this week. We're here at Merry Hill on Thursday, and on Friday we are at Wednesfield. Thank you. So please do come along, fill the surveys in, give us your thoughts. It's really important to us that we have you on board with what the service delivery is going to look like as we go forward. You're helping us to shape what the services that we provide, so it is really, really important. I will just ask Rebecca or Steve if they've got any last comments before we go. And we may have just had another question, I think, so I'm just waiting to see if it comes through. No, I don't think we have. But if there is anything that comes through, we will respond to you. But Bex, have you any kind of final words? And then I'll just jump in, Steve.
No, I think it's to echo everything that Julie said, and I think we did get some really good questions in ahead of tonight and during the session that definitely provoke further thought for me and what we do moving forwards. And as Julie says, it really is the start of a conversation. I think consultations can be seen as a bit of a tick box exercise historically, and we absolutely want to be able to show that we've listened and that we've learned. So in the same way we've done this consultation, we'll communicate back to you through so many different channels and means, so that you can see what we've done over the next coming weeks, months and years really, so that you're involved at the heart and you can see that. So yeah, I think other than that, just thank you all for joining us tonight and for all of your feedback so far.
Thank you. Steve, have you got any last comments? We may not get your picture moving. I think you're frozen.
Nothing particularly from me. Am I still frozen?
You are, I'm afraid.
All right. Well, if you can still hear me, I'd just like to say thanks for joining us tonight and for listening in. We really appreciate it. One of the main reasons we wanted to do tonight was to give people an opportunity, particularly those people who might be at work during the day or are not available for whatever reason, to come forward and have a say. So thanks very much for joining us, and hopefully there'll be other opportunities for us to speak to you again, and contact any of the staff at Wolverhampton Homes at any time. And please, I can't sort of encourage you enough really to give us as much feedback as you want to. Thank you.
Right, thank you very much. Thank you for your time this evening, and we wish you a good evening. Bye.
Bye.